flux capacitor? I barely know her. Finally finished my back to the fanfic. It's gold! You know, Milk is really weird when you think about it. Yeah, it's time for a video about you, huh? And the nightmares you've caused. Once upon a time, all life on Earth was very simple. And then, it wasn't as simple. Sometime later, it got less simpler still. Some would say it was complex even, and there were eggs and things. But then, whoops-a-daisy, a meteor nearly unalived everything. But this one, relatively new kind of life form happens to thrive in this new wasteland because they ooze nutritious cream. Also milk. Mammals were these new spine-equipped organisms also known as warm-blooded fur-bearing life forms, which evolved to nourish their offspring not with pre-chewed sustenance regurgitated from a previous meal or whatever is scavenged and brought to them, but with a specialized nutrient-rich liquid produced by bodily secretory organs, mammary glands, hence mammals. Mammary, you get it. This creamy elixir, colloquially known as milk, is dispensed through glandular protrusions, teats, udders, animal juice faucets, and words I can't say without this video being flagged. But why is milk so beneficial? I mean, it's the same nutrients that the mother eats after all, whether it's just brought to her tiny fur replicas, chewed and regurgitated like birds, or fully digested and converted into milk. It's all the same stuff still. Right? Well, ultimately yes, but specifically, no. Milk is a specialized, nutrient-dense liquid containing a balanced concoction of proteins, fats, sugars, vitamins, and minerals, all put together in a way to specifically nurture the rapid growth of miniature furballs. Babies. Eating raw food, pre-chewed or swallowed or otherwise, there's going to be a lot of stuff in there that doesn't exactly help. Parts you can't digest, proteins that don't benefit you, bones, seeds, excessive filler, stuff that needs to be more heavily digested and processed by your body before it can actually put it to use. But milk is pure, get fat energy, which differs between species based on their specific needs. Some seal milk, for instance, is over 60% fat and is the most calorically dense milk of all. Makes sense when their survival depends on their bodies being extra cushioned with blubber. No way to survive all the clubbing otherwise. Now, for once in your gosh dang American life, consider the perspective of the mother. Egg laying takes a lot out of you. All the nutrients many baby reptiles get from their moms is given to them then and there. That's a lot of work all at once for mom. So this lactational innovation allows mammals to give birth to live young in earlier stages of development. Think of baby sea turtles. They hatch not only fully formed, but strong enough to dig themselves up out of the sand and run as fast as they ever will to the ocean. It's like Normandy with all of these goals. They need to be fully prepared and developed. But compare that to helpless newborn puppies and kittens. They can't even hear or see yet, and their little muscles could barely manage a wobble. That's not exactly conducive to survival, but having been launched from mom early, mom doesn't have to carry them around inside of herself while stalking prey anymore, and can focus now on hunting and producing more cat juice. Plus, milk is immediate and portable nourishment that ensures that the baby can survive and thrive, even in the absence of abundant food sources. Literally, they suck the life out of mom in a famine, but the next generation survives. So from tree-climbing chatterboxes to waterbound song giants, mammals have kinda taken over the world, humans included. In fact, humans are unique in the mammal world. We're the only still living species with permanent breasts. We even develop them just as a part of puberty, rather than needing to be pregnant first. Even cows, the animal pretty much synonymous with gargantuan, undulating milk faucets, don't get their iconic udders until they get pregnant. They just lactate for 305 days after they get pregnant too. And then they stop, and the udders start shriveling back up into them like they got into a cold pool. That is, until humans got involved with dairy farms and all that and started doing things artificially. I want to know who the first guy to see a cow nursing her young and think, oh, you know what? That should be me. But alas, we don't know which pervert it was. But we do know it was somewhere in Europe around 12,000 years ago for cows, and somewhere in the Fertile Crescent around 11,000 years ago for goats, who also got the big udder. And they were really, really useful. Not only can they convert disgusting grass we can't eat into delicious meat and babies, they also peed liquid cheese! And the people would protect the cattle from predators, so really it was a win-win for everyone involved. But now, while the nutritional value of bovine-produced moo soup is dubiously exaggerated and overstated, especially in the late 80s through the early 2000s, it's still overall a net positive, especially for kids and teens who are still growing. So all that said, it's no wonder that the Moomoo Milk item in Pokemon heals better than a super potion even. I mean, again, it's liquid designed to help a calf or other mammal grow up big and strong as fast as possible. But for an adult human with no more growth to do, oh gosh man, your calf is huge! Quit drinking so much milk! It's got a load of lactose! Milk sugar that specifically makes it easier for your body to store and absorb calories as body fat. Literally stop drinking it and you'll feel better.
I can't! It's so good!
Personally, I think just drinking a straight up glass of milk is really weird. Like, the idea of it even makes me a little nauseated. But once you churn it up and let it sit out for a while, it's totally fine. I am a cheese fiend. And all this is mostly ice cream. Probably the worst dessert for you in terms of needing a bigger belt. It's all that milk in it, and then you add even more sugar to it, making it even easier to store all of that all around your liver and organs. Real bad stuff. Meanwhile, in the process of making cheese and butter and such, most of the fattening agents in the milk get converted into other things, so a loaf of milk won't make you bulge out of your pants as much as a cup of it.
So eat to your heart's content. You don't really, it's still... Oh.
Yeah? Oh, this is a Pokemon channel, right? Miltank! Ultimately, Miltank is just a big round cow. It maintains its spherical form so it can roll around a lot. Think like cow tipping, the fun prank that everyone enjoys except for the cows. You roll the cow over and bam! It can't get up again. But Miltank can. I've always been curious about the pattern on Miltank's head. It kind of makes me think of like the hoods or bonnets that peasants and farmers would wear in the medieval period, but wait a second, those are called cowls. Cowls! Dear God! Miltank is a tank of milk, if you will. Industrial, but it's also the video game class of a tank almost, but not as much as you might expect. Yes, it's got a lot of HP and defenses, but its second highest stat is actually speed, which, along with Miltank's penchant for the move Rollout, which gets stronger and stronger each turn, and its signature milk drink move, which heals itself and it knowing Attract, Whitney was Pokemon's first casual filter. She was the third gym leader in Generation 2's Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and despite her only having 2 Pokemon, Clefairy and Miltank, she wiped the floor of kids with full teams of 6 countless times. Of course, if you knew what you were up against and prepare specifically for her, she's no more difficult than your typical third gym leader, but to casual players who weren't expecting this thing, your starter Pokemon is likely your strongest, and statistically is much more likely to be male, meaning her Miltank's Attract will work against it. Now your starter doesn't want to fight it. It's normal type. It's only weak to fighting, but you know ghosts are immune to it, and you have a chance to get a Ghastly in Sprout Tower, but only at night, and the day-night cycle was a brand new thing. Pokemon invented it. How does a ghost die again? Rollout is rock type? But hey, you have access to 2 fighting types. One of them is Heracross, who is a very rare spawn that you get from headbutting some specific trees near a previous town, and there's no indication that they are there, or even that you can headbutt them. So good luck just knowing that in the days before home internet connections were common. There is also one NPC in Goldenrod who will trade you a Machop for a Drowsy, but knowing that would imply that you're the type to talk to every NPC in the city with the most NPCs by far until Gen 5. So your most common average average player likely won't be using type advantage here.
Well, that's okay. I have 6 Pokemon. She only has 2. I'll just brute force it.
Oh, but you see, Rollout gets stronger and stronger every turn, and Miltank is fast, attacking first each turn. 2 shots your first Pokemon, 1 shot's your next, 1 shot's your next, 1 shot's your next, 1 shot's your next. Opie sent out a Pokemon that happens to be faster than it. Good job, you landed a single hit, but Miltank's defense and HP are so high, so 1 shot your Mon, and now you're all dead. Oh gosh, I'm a little bit hurt from that one attack they landed. Guess I'll use Milk Drink. Haha! I mean Moo. I mean Miltank.
It's like banging your head against a wall.
Only it's a cow. So you grind a little bit. Try again. Nope. You grind a little bit. You try again. Nope. You grind a little bit. You try again. Nope. Whitney is forcing you to learn strategy as you watch your whole team succumb to her Miltank's massive memories, barreling over them again and again.
Nut.
Would you? On the note of massive memories, I'm gonna pull a typical Redditor moment whenever they see an anime female of questionable age. Whitney's got really big bazongas. While not obscenely large like what a lot of anime does, there's still a noticeable deliberate design choice here, as Whitney does have among the highest waist to chest measurements ratio in the franchise, especially for the early games. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. One is the obvious. Her partner Pokemon is a big cow whose body is 80% udder, and I'm sure you can figure out the connections there. And that honestly could be all there is to it. Actually, given how much she likely drinks Moomoo Milk compared to most other trainers, it's worth bringing up a common fear society had for a while in the late 90s and early 2000s. The idea that excessive milk drinking was leading to girls entering puberty earlier and earlier and having more extreme effects. The fact that that's happening is true, but it being linked to milk has since been debunked. It's more so to do with just the general well-being and nutrition of children these days compared to throughout the rest of history. Their bodies are just saying, oh, I'm not starving to death 3 months out of the year. We can go ahead and start this whole process sooner. But still, the idea and fear spread far, because fear always spreads far in the news media. And like the idea of Vikings having horns, it affected a lot of media at the time. But on the more speculative headcanon side of things, given her loud and energetic tomboyish personality with lots of jumping and activity, her shirt being reminiscent of women's baseball jerseys, and her name being Whitney, meaning is white, I think you can throw relatively large-breasted into all of that, and you get your typical 90s anime stereotype for American woman. That's not to say that she is definitively white or Western. It's always difficult to tell with anime characters, but this is just to say that there's evidence for it. And plus, for a time, the US produced most of the world's milk after all, and even in Japanese, her name is Akane, which is used to make the dyes in the same colors that her shirt and hair are, but more importantly, is most common in Europe, where cows were domesticated and where white people are from. And now's probably the only time it's acceptable to exclaim, I love being white. Look at this map of lactose intolerance. Basically, it turns out that the whiter you are, the more likely you can drink milk without gut problems. Cheese and crackers go together so well! Oh yeah, do one more take. Cheese and crackers go together so well. And Whitney, of course, wouldn't be the only American gym leader in the old Game Boy games, as there's the inarguably American Lieutenant Surge. But what's he doing in Kanto? And what secret conspiracies does he hold? Here's a video all about him now. Check it out, and never stop using your noggin. I'm about to be rolled over.